Hello, my name is Juan Diego, and I am here to tell you about a significant event in my life that changed me. But first, we're going to get started on getting to know me a little bit better. So, I was born in 1474, and I am a native to Mexico. So, following the early death of my father, I was taken to live with my uncle and raised in line with the Aztec pagan religions. But as I've been told, I've always shown signs of having a mystical sense of life. I was also recognized for my religious fervor, my respectful and gracious attitudes towards the Virgin Mary, and my bishop, Juan de Zumárraga, and my undying love for my ill uncle. When a group of 12 Franciscan missionaries arrived in Mexico in 1524, me and my wife, Maria Lucia, converted to Catholicism and were among the first to be baptized in the region. I was very committed to my new life and would walk long distances to receive religious instruction at the Franciscan mission station at Tlatelolco. One day, on December 9th, 1531, I was in a hurry to make it to Mass and celebrate the feast of the Immaculate Conception. However, I was stopped by the beautiful sight of a radiant woman who introduced herself to me in my native tongue as the ever-perfect Holy Mary, who has the honor to be the mother of the true God. Mary told me she was the mother of all those who lived in my land and asked me to make a request to the local bishop. She wanted me to build a chapel in her honor there on Tepeyac Hill, which is the site of a former pagan temple. When I had approached my bishop, telling him what happened, I was presented with doubts and told to give him time to reflect on the news. Later that same day, I encountered the Virgin Mary a second time, and I had told her that I had failed in granting her request. I tried telling her that I wasn't an appointed person and not the one for the task, but she insisted I was the person she wanted. So I returned to the bishop the next day and repeated my request, but now he asked for proof or a sign the apparition was real and truly of heaven. I went back to Tepeyac Hill and encountered the Virgin Mary again. After telling her what the bishop had asked, she told me that she would provide proof the next day. So my uncle became very sick the next day, and I had to stay in with him and care for him. I went to find a priest the next morning and tried quick because I did not want to face the Virgin Mary after I had missed our meeting the previous day. But the Virgin Mary saw me and asked me what was wrong, so I explained to her about my uncle and how he was ill. Then she told me my uncle would be cured and asked me to climb the hill and collect flowers growing there. So I obeyed her and went up to the hill. I saw many flowers growing and collected them in my cloak and returned to Mary. Mary arranged the flowers within my cloak and told me that it would be a sign I am to present. I immediately left and found the bishop and opened my cloak. There was a miraculous image imprinted of the Virgin Mary on my flower-filled cloak. The next day I found my uncle completely cured of his illness. I was so grateful, and so I had explained to him what had happened. News of this miracle spread quickly, but I remained a humble man. The bishop cut my imprinted cloak in his private chapel, but then placed it on public display in the church built on Tepeyac Hill the next year. But I continued working and praying after the miraculous events. But I always feel closer to God more than ever before, and I am unsure why the Virgin Mary picked me, but I will forever be grateful for this event. I think about the first day that the Virgin Mary visited me and how I was really shocked and scared. I honestly had thought that I had gone to heaven when I saw her, and she introduced herself to me, but I kept wondering how and why, so early in my life, I would have been dead. I prayed every day and did everything I could to stay true to my faith, and I now live a life more religious than before.